All right, welcome everyone to our podcast, Simply Mad Simmers. We are live. It's episode 1. We are here with our hosts, Shadow and Sheer Insane. Guys, welcome everyone to our first podcast episode ever.
Hi.
How's
So
everyone
early
doing?
in the morning.
It is early in the morning for us weekend warriors. But, all right, so we got a lot to get into today. We got some world flight news, some sim aviation news, some American truck sim news, and some special announcements as well. So, how you guys doing?
Good. Excited. Really excited. Especially with what just happened with World Flight recently.
That is true.
Yeah, I can't complain. It's a good Sunday morning.
Good Sunday morning. All right. World flight news. We have the schedule that's been released. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It is up, though, on Rookie's Discord. I know it's been announced on my Twitter. Do you guys have it posted anywhere? Or have it posted?
I do not.
I printed it out from Office Depot and I stuck it on my wall, and my wife then ripped it off. So I'm in the process of getting another one.
She ripped it off?
Yes.
One thing that we should do is we should explain what World Flight is, because some people they're just gonna hear World Flight and have absolutely no idea what in the world that is.
That is true. Well, you want to just go ahead and explain it then?
Yeah, so for those who are unaware, so World Flight is a charity event that happens every year on the VATSIM network, where a group of multiple teams that have full-size cockpit simulators, whether 7.4s, 7.3s, Airbuses, it doesn't really matter, but just full-size sims. They just do a flight around the world. It's usually a week long. It's broadcasted live on Twitch and YouTube and all that kind of fun stuff for the entire week, 24/7, basically. And during that, any and all donations that are received go straight to the charities. And so it's basically just a huge charity stream is really what it boils down to. And so there's a new team this year that we are all a part of. And first and foremost, any and all opinions and everything we say are not the opinion of the team. They are our own individual opinions. So we're not talking as the team. We are just talking as team members and ourselves and individuals. So kind of got to lay that out for a second there. But we are a part of the World Flight SoCal crew. We're going to be using the Fly with Rookie simulator, which is a Boeing 737-800 is what it's modeled after. And so World Flight is that event. And we've been waiting for a while to get the actual schedule, to know where we're flying, when we're flying, all that kind of stuff. And that is just what released. So for those who don't know, that is what World Flight is.
Yes, World Flight, a whole week-long event. It's going to be lots of fun. I think we got a great team in place. They'll be there flying for the whole week, and raising money for a good cause. So that's really the important goal of this whole thing. Taking place November 5th, I think is the first day, right?
You're very close.
It's November 5th for us, right?
For us, yes.
Yes.
It's November 5th. Yeah, because it's pretty much Australians. We're starting
Yes.
off there.
Yeah.
The first Saturday in November is when it always is.
Yes, so first Saturday of November for us definitely would be where World Flight's starting at. So definitely looking forward to that. Definitely stay tuned. Make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. That's going to be a very fun event in the cockpit. So in other news, we got Microsoft Flight Simulator coming up on the 2-year anniversary mark as well. 2 years. It's hard to believe that it's been 2 years already since Microsoft has been released. Doesn't feel like 2 years. Time has definitely flown by on that. But what are you guys' first thoughts on Microsoft after 2 years?
To be honest with you, I actually am a little bit surprised at Microsoft. It's been 2 years because, wow, like it went by quick. I still feel like Microsoft is still really new with the flight sim. Obviously, they've been around, but yeah, when you come to realize that it's been 2 years, that's crazy, because I remember waiting for the beta. I remember waiting for it to be released. I remember seeing all the previews for it, and it was just nuts that it was just only 2 years ago.
Yes.
really excited with how far it's come. That's the biggest thing for me. I was a part of the alpha, the test flight where you had to get invited to it.
Wow.
Well,
And
this is news to me.
This
that
is
was,
news.
Elaborate, please, sir.
so I've seen it from the very beginning, basically, and how far that it has come is just impressive. Because the biggest thing, like the biggest content that was in the simming community was it's not realistic enough. The planes aren't modeled accurately enough. It's not this, it's not that kind of thing. But the thing that I feel like most people didn't realize is I feel like that's how every sim starts. Is it's not realistic in some regard, some manner. And people initially get mad about it because it's not true to form. But then after it evolves and after it matures and you start to get good quality add-ons like the Phoenix and then the Boeing, the PMDG, all that kind of stuff, that's when the sims really kind of start to show their true colors. Yeah, it's not perfect yet. The flight dynamics aren't the best, but they're not bad. But as far as how far it's come and what it is, as far as a simulator, like $60 or whatever it's going for now, you get the entire world modeled accurately. That's the biggest thing for me because when I was growing up, I was just using my mom's laptop to play, and on FSX, I had the settings. The only way I could get more than like 10 frames is if I had the settings all the way down.
Remember that when it was 15 frames or 14 frames? Like you were top dog if you were pushing 14, 15 frames.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I would be averaging 7 on absolute minimum settings. I had some screenshots I found of the way it used to look, and just so to go from that to being able to hop in a plane and fly to my house and know the roads, being like, that is Chubbuck Road. That is the road that goes up towards my house. That is this road. Like, that is I-15. That is I-86. To know those roads and to see my house modeled accurately with the extension on there, there's just, it's impressive. It is wildly impressive. And they're always updating it, obviously. Which is a pain point for some because they're forced updates and they're not voluntary. That is my one biggest gripe, is let it be a voluntary update instead of a forced update. But it's come a long, long way from someone that was in that alpha. It's grown its legs, basically.
Yeah.
Now it's just learning to run.
Yeah. I think the first thing most people did when they first got Microsoft was fly to their house, fly to their friend's house,
Oh yeah,
relative's house, your
100%.
work.
yeah. Mine was a box. Like it was all in blocks when I flew to my house at the time. Like I flew there and I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna fly there. And then like you can see the layout and everything of it, but it was uneven. But like yeah, you can tell like okay, this is the road that you would take to go to my house and blah blah blah. And then you would be on Discord with your buddies and be like, okay, so tell me how to get to your house, and you'd fly in a little Cessna and then fly over their house, and it'd be like, make a right on this freeway and so. So like yeah, it's that was incredible.
Or crash it into your work building because but
Yeah,
Definitely never did that. Steve, if you're listening, I definitely did not fly in your house.
nope. Cannot confirm nor deny that was done.
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
So, but no, Flight Sim, from when I got it, because I pretty much got it day one it came out. I actually bought it twice because I bought it from the Microsoft Store, and then Microsoft Store had all kinds of issues when they first updated the game. And so it wouldn't update and it wouldn't play for me, so I redid it on Steam because I heard everyone's like, buy it on Steam, it's working better. And
Microsoft was having issues?
Yeah, Microsoft surprisingly was having issues.
What?
But I bought it on Steam, and then ever since then, I haven't really had any issues. I know a lot of people have had trouble with updates. I've never had, knock on wood, I don't even know why I'm saying this out loud, I've never had to reinstall it since then. Yeah, since then, I've never had to reinstall it. So I know a lot of people do have issues with those updates, and I've heard take out your community folder when you update. I've only done that once on when there was like the update, everyone was screaming, must do it, must do it. I did it once, and then after that, I kind of never did again, and just luckily have not had those issues. But
I'm right there with you. Never taken out community folder. I've never. Not that.
So you've updated without taking it out?
Yeah, I've always I just updated. I never.
This guy plays with fire.
Yeah, I've only
Yeah.
taken it out once, and I didn't even take it out. I just changed the name of the folder and then changed it back.
Yeah. I
Okay,
think-
see, I've done only that. That's what I only do. Is like if I know there's an update, if I catch it in time, I'll just rename the folder by just pressing X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I've only had to do that. I've only done it once, and that was just because everyone was screaming, "You got to do it," and so I did it. But then after that, I just updated and never did it, and it's been fine. Luckily,
I
it's
agree.
been fine. But
I'm-
I mean, ever since people talking about like it's just a game, a video game. I mean, I can see where they're coming from, especially when it first came out. But now that you got the Phoenix and the PMDG, and several others that are coming, that the developer can make their own flight dynamic into the simulator and inject it in, and so it's not solely reliant on what's default Microsoft when it comes to flight dynamics, which is a huge help, to those developers and everything. Now that every update they're opening their door more and more for more and more flexibility, I guess you could say. That's really, in the next year from now, I can only imagine what's going to happen with everything. There's a 787 in development, a 757 in development. There's a 777, 747 from both of those from PMDG in development.
Who's making the 7.8?
Quality Wings, I believe.
They're making one for Microsoft?
Yes, I believe that's the one
Wow.
that's in development for Microsoft. I think it's Just Flight is doing the 757. Someone in chat can maybe correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But that one I think is towards the end of the year / beginning of next year to be released. I think quarter
Wow.
one maybe of next year. So
That's
there's
amazing.
definitely a lot in development for Microsoft that's just going to take it to a whole new level come next year. Plus the A310 free on the anniversary for Microsoft.
The builds, yep.
Any builds coming in clutch there to actually giving away their plane for free. I wish it was the 300. I feel like that one's more popular, but that's probably also why it's not the free one.
Beggars can't be choosers, Meg.
Business idea, but we'll take any good high quality plane like that for free.
That's incredible, actually. I did not know that. Wow. The more you know.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot in development for sure, and there's already a lot that's come out. This far. I mean, there's the fly-by-wire that's still free. It's an excellent plane, right up there with the Phoenix. Not as on the level of the Phoenix, but if for free, I mean, it's one of the best damn planes that in any simulator, in my opinion.
Here's a question for you. What upcoming plane that's been announced are you guys most excited for? Mule
That's
that
The
one
Max.
up. Right.
Actually, I just found out that the Max is being iFly is working on the Max.
Yes. So is PMDG after all their other releases are going to be doing the Max as well. So, but that's not until next year. But definitely, I guess Max. But I think the most eminent one that I'm waiting for would probably be either the 787, a high fidelity one, or the 777 from PMDG.
I'm definitely looking forward to the PMDG wide body. So the 777, that stuff. But the one I'm really, really excited for is the fly-by-wire A380.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
Reviews of that.
I forgot about that one. I'm.
Oh yeah.
The previews that they're putting out. Oh my gosh, it looks
The two images.
So they've released a few more now, and
Did
they
they?
show like cockpit textures and like one of the, you can see on the displays, the MIPS. It looks like you can see fingerprint smudges and whatnot on the screens. Like they are going really, really hard on making it just look extremely good.
I'm excited for those. Those are the things that I'm really excited for because these are free, right?
Yep. Supposedly the A380 is going to launch and it'll be free.
Yeah, it's going to be free just like the 320. But it does look absolutely incredible. The outside model, some of the textures inside they've released. I don't know if you guys have heard of any kind of possible release time frame. I don't think I have.
No.
I think the last thing I heard was the end of the year, but I'm not entirely sure on that.
The thing is, though, do you think that they're doing it for free? Not because the developers are nice, but because Airbus is like, well, you can use our stuff, but you don't have to pay us if you don't charge people.
Could be. But I mean, I think it's just that's just the way fly-by-wire wants to operate. They don't want to do it for free because I mean they take donations. They just aren't charging people for their product. Just like people that made the Zebo, they don't charge anyone, but people still give them donations for their work. Which I've donated to fly-by-wire.
Definitely. No, I just thought of it, and now I'm like, when things look this good, it's like, why don't make it into a favorite product? And then I just start to realize something maybe to do with licensing, or maybe they're just nice. It could be that.
It'd be a little bit of both. But no,
That's pretty
definitely a
cool,
great
though.
plane. Also looking forward to the 220 that's supposed to be coming out. That fly-by-wire is now working with what is their name? Synaptic Simulations or something like that. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
No.
Yeah, Synaptic Simulations. So it's on the fly-by-wire download module that they're working on it. It's been in development for quite a while, but the A220 is like one of the ones I've really been waiting for a long time in any simulator, because we don't have one in. I don't think there's one in P3D. I don't think there's one in X-Plane. There is a thing in X-Plane, but it's trash. It's not good whatsoever. So yeah, we don't have any A220.
We have one by Vertical, but the thing is, like, how accurate is it? I mean, it has 4 stars on Sim Market, but for P3D,
You guys do have an A220?
we do have one, yeah.
Is it a
But
good one?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure because that's I mean, there's 4 stars on it, 22 reviews on it, so I'm not entirely sure how good it is. I'll test it out and see how it is, but we do have one.
Okay. Well, maybe you can let us know in the next episode exactly how good it is, because I haven't heard anything about it. So it leads me to think that it's not that good. But
yeah.
I mean, you said it got 4 or 5 stars, but only 22 reviews. So
Yeah.
it is a good question on that. So they actually did just release some images of their their displays on their Discord about a week or 2 ago. So they are making still progress. So it's still going along. Hopefully, maybe by the end of the year, it may be getting closer to release. But that's one of the ones I'm kind of excited for. It's kind of like this, to me, it's like the 737 version of an Airbus, I feel like. But,
The 220?
yeah, just in my mind for some reason. It's
Huh.
kind of the way that I treat it.
Okay. See, for me, the 320 is the Airbus equivalent of a 73.
A little small. 321 might be a little bit closer, but I don't know. Like a 220, I feel like is somewhere in the middle of both of those.
The 220, I would say, around the ERJ status.
Is it?
I don't know. I mean, that's what I would think. So
maybe that's why I like it, because I definitely want a good E-Jet that we're still waiting to be released. There's one from Microsoft that's horrible from what I've heard, but it's definitely another one, because I love the short hops more than the long hauls, but that's just me.
Short hops, you got
No,
to
it's
take
not.
off and landing, and that's the best. That's the funnest part of flying. Sometimes is taking off and landings.
This is true, which is
I'm
why I
right
prefer
there
the
with
short
you.
to medium.
Yep.
But
So is that what you're gonna is that what your aims for then for the bidding for the schedules is the short hops?
not necessarily, because I think flying in a full cockpit with someone else is a little bit different than sitting on your desk flying by yourself.
Okay.
And while you got chat, and you're getting kept entertained with chat and everything, and you're sometimes doing games or movies or something like that. At least what I do on my channel, but it just depends, really. I guess where we're going and what we're flying, because I've done quite a few long hauls recently in our world flight, more than I have short hops. I think our average flight time has been at least 3 hours recently.
What type of airports have you been looking at for it? Like any of the routes that really speak out to you?
I don't know if I exactly prefer a route when it comes to world flight. I just want to fly, and I don't think I really even care which airports I'm flying to, because I'm just getting
That's
to
so adorable.
fly full simulator.
Making him cry.
You know what I mean?
Tears in his eyes.
I mean, obviously,
I know.
there's probably some airports that I would prefer to fly to, and I wish we were flying into for world flight, but they're not on the route.
Yeah.
So, like I said, as long I don't think I want to do too many like late night ones. I want to rather
Yeah.
I think I'd rather do more daytime. Our time flying for sure, but you know, as long as I'm flying, that's the main goal.
It's fair.
So the other news too, X-Plane 12 is supposedly now release is imminent, according to the last post from Laminar Research. Apparently,
Oh, excellent.
they just put X-Plane 11 on a 50% discount. It's half off now, as they're trying to grab the last bit of X-Plane 11 they can, I guess, profits out of that before it switches to X-Plane 12. Because at that point, I mean, unless X-Plane 12 absolutely is horrible, I don't see anyone buying X-Plane 11 anymore at that point, when you can buy the new one at almost the same price.
Well, it's gonna be the same thing as Microsoft, right? Like when Microsoft first launched, everyone grabbed it, but was it stable? So then it's like, well, then you revert back to your old simulator.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Now, yeah.
you're saying?
No, I was gonna say like now whether that would stop people from buying X-Plane 11, who knows? I mean, they'll probably still keep it up for people who don't have the rig that can support X-Plane 12. Because that's what they did for P3D and Microsoft, or when you have Flight S.M.S, and then P3D came out, a lot of machines couldn't run P3D, or when 2004 came out and then X came out, not a lot of people can run X. You would go back to 2004.
Mm-hmm. This is true. I mean, the main difference too, Microsoft was a full release, as they did the whole alpha beta before. X-Plane 12, to note, is being released as a beta, like they did with 11 as well. So I'm definitely expecting problems with 12 on release, which is why I'm hesitant to get it day one.
Did you get Microsoft day one?
I did get Microsoft day one, yes.
Then you get 12 day one.
But I was way more excited, I think, for that release than I was for this release, just because Microsoft was on a whole new level that we never saw from any simulator when it came to graphics. That was, I mean, the graphics add to your total immersion package. If it looks exactly like it does in real life, it just adds to the package. And I get that it wasn't perfect when it came out. The flight dynamics weren't there. The planes weren't there. Just like any simulator, when it comes out, everything has to be added to it. Third-party developers are really make these simulators viable for us streamers, and just the everyday person flying. Because, let's be honest, default planes are really never any good.
Nope.
Just take an example: X-Plane 11's 737 versus the Zebo, night and day difference. Same with Microsoft's. Say even their 747, add the Salty mod to it, night and day difference, fly by wire. So I'm kind of hesitant, just because one, you got to download all the ortho again. You got to re-input all your files, make sure they work into X-Plane 12, reorganize all that. I don't know. It just seems like it's going to be a big hassle, but I just want to make sure it's stable and not going to just keep crashing all the time before, jumping right into it. You know what I mean?
I feel like with every sim, it's going to be like that. Like when Microsoft came out, you could do, a barrel roll, an aileron roll, a flip-de-loop with the 7.3. And to me, it's like, why release something knowing how the community is already? Why do we have to wait for these third-party mods or anything like that? Like, why can't we have one simulator where it releases and it actually accurately represents the real thing, or as closely as you can if you're going to have it in your simulator, or at least have that third party already available when that sim releases? Because I think that was the biggest thing that was like, great, Microsoft is out, but you can't go direct the waypoint on if you're flying on VATSIM, right? Like
Mhm.
that to me was important. Like how as a developer did you skip over that part?
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Maybe X-Plane 12 might be a different release. Like, I'm not an X-Plane fan. I've never really flown it. I've only just recently got X-Plane 11.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been not Microsoft. Well, yeah, technically Microsoft, because I went Microsoft 2002, 2004, then P3D, and then when 2020 came out, I tried that for like 2 days and just gave up on it because it was just so buggy, and then just stuck to what I had, because every time I feel like it's always an uphill battle with Flight Sim, where it's just like, no matter what you do, no matter what you upgrade, there's always something that you're never going to be there unless you have like a super NASA computer.
A Super NES computer or an actual full motion from like Southwest or something like that, sitting in your
Oh, God.
garage, which is millions of dollars, and definitely don't have any money for that. But Drew in chat
So-
does say, I guess X-Plane 11 comes with the purchase of X-Plane 12, is what Drew is saying in chat. So that's a little more interesting. I did not know that.
Let me play a little bit of devil's advocate here for you, Shadow. So to the point as far as like releasing with everything, the main question, and with like releasing with something that you're not going to have a computer that'll run it for 10 years, for example, would you rather them put something that the majority of computers today could run, or would you rather them do something that a high-end computer in a few years could run? So let me ask you that question first.
So pretty much, let me just to get the question is like, would I rather prefer it be released for a high-end computer or something that everyone can run?
Yeah, would you rather them try and let me word it this way. So the question would be, would you rather them put as much like graphics and raw horsepower and whatnot that they could into it, knowing that you may not be able to take full advantage of it for like 6 years? Or would you rather them tone some of that stuff down so that way computers of today could run it at max setting?
See, that's a hard one because I do want it so I can run it, but the thing is, like, for everybody else, but it's like with Flight Sim, I feel like I would rather have them work on it completely for high-end computers and just put it out there. Like, this is the requirement. This is the minimum requirements. You need a 3090, not a 3090 Ti. You need a 3090 as a minimum. And a 5900X or a 12900K processor. Like, already put it out there. Like, hey, if you want to run this Flight Sim, no problem. We can do it. But these are the requirements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in a perfect world, I think there'd be a way they'd release a version that's dumbed down and then a version that's more advanced. And you can choose which one you want to, use, because I definitely don't want graphics back to the old days where they used to be. And I
What are we,
definitely-
BMW at this point? Paying for seat warmers? You
yeah.
want better graphics? You got to pay extra.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd rather them go all out and have a perfect simulator that's perfect and works than one that they just kind of dumb down. I mean, the flight sim hobby's never been a cheap hobby if you really want to do the realism in that terms of aspect, whether it's hardware, software, you name it. It's expensive.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Like, I mean, I enjoy it, and that's the thing with Flight Sim. It's something that I've always enjoyed, even though sometimes a headache where you just launch it and you get an error, or you get blue screens, or it crashes, or you run out of video memory, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
You just see it sucked right back into it.
But in that terms of business too, if you do too all out and you make it too expensive and too hard on your systems, I mean, that's gonna alienate a lot of their customers, a lot of kids that are on Flight Sim. And
Yeah, I mean, how old were you when you started?
I started in '98, so I was 9, 8,
Yeah.
7, something like that.
There you go. Sure.
Probably 2007 was probably when I actually
Oh,
got
a
into
late
it.
bloomer.
Yeah, I didn't have a computer until then, so I had no means of running one, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I started until Microsoft came out. I played all of my simulators on a laptop, not even a gaming laptop, just some cheap, old school laptop. Obviously, not the best performance. I started with just flying with a mouse and a keyboard. I didn't have a joystick. I didn't have any of that kind of stuff. But when Microsoft came out, I realized, well, crap, this is going to be. There's no way I'm running this on a basic laptop. So I went out and got my first gaming computer, custom built it, and all that stuff. And it's expensive to get to that level of what you want to be at, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it ain't cheap, that's for sure.
no, I don't even want to talk about the price tag that I've spent on this stuff so far.
And I think, and is that what deters people from going forward with things? Like, is that what deters people from switching simulators?
There's definitely a
Yes.
barrier to entry when you switch.
I mean, I got P3D, for example, after having X-Plane and Microsoft, and that's the only two that I've really ever done. I did purchase P3D for the fact that before they announced they were going to Microsoft, because I wanted to fly the PMDG. I missed flying the PMDG that was in FSX, and I wanted to fly the real high fidelity 737. I downloaded it, and then I realized how much money I was going to have to invest to make this look good, and I said, no way. I was already way too much invested in the others to open up a third full sim and pay another thousands of dollars for everything. No. So, I mean, that does keep us from switching.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, because that's exactly how it was for me with X-Plane, right? There's always been the great battle between P3D and X-Plane, and you'll always get the whole who wants to do which one. Like, is it?
Mhm.
And when you have one, it's hard to switch to the other because of all that time and money you have to reinvest. You literally have to rebuy all your add-ons again.
Mhm.
And to me, that was a big thing. When you're dropping 5K into all your atoms combined, and then switching back to another one, and now you have to rebuy everything. It's like, well, I'll just stick to what I have and work on it.
Mhm. Exactly. They just, yeah, it's a big price tag and a big burden for a lot of people. But that's why I think having it on Xbox has opened the door to a lot of people that wouldn't be able to afford the other stuff. I mean, that's where it obviously comes into the fact where it seems like it's more of a game than a simulator. It's on a console, but at the same time, they've advanced a lot of stuff with that now too, with a lot of flight hardware from like Turtle Beach, even Thrustmaster now capable to use on Xbox with the real yoke and everything's making it a little bit more realistic for them.
Honeycomb, their entire product line can be used on
Yep,
Xbox now.
Honeycomb. So everyone's kind of branched out and kind of capturing on that. The game, from what I've told, though, is not nearly as good as it is on PC. But I think that's a lot of games when it comes to the difference between console and PC. There's a big difference. Like
Yeah.
even GTA, all kinds of mods you can use on PC to make it more realistic and better. You can't do any of that on Xbox or PlayStation. It's just
Yeah.
so PC gaming's always been on a different level than console gaming in that aspect of it, but it's all to everyone's budget.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, my kids absolutely love it when we load up Flight Sim on the Xbox, and I'll get them in the air, hand them the controller. Don't look at the TV because the camera's just doing this, just spinning in circles. It makes it makes me nauseous because they're just sitting there holding the joysticks over, not knowing what they're doing. But they could do that for hours. They absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think Xbox is great to capture the new kids into the market and eventually get them over to the PC side. The more that they do it, fall in love with it. I think that's a smart idea for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're lowering the barrier to entry. Like the Xbox, there's way more Xboxes in households than there are gaming computers.
Mm-hmm.
And then even when you limit into that, like gaming computers that also happen to have joysticks and all the other stuff that majority of people that use simulators on computers have. Now, yeah, you can hook up an Xbox controller to the computer and then boom, you got an Xbox basically. But there's a whole lot more families out there, which is that have an Xbox, which is also probably another reason why they put it on Games Pass. Is if you have Games Pass, the game is you just have it, and there's a lot of families that have Games Pass, so it's just, in my
Are you one of
opinion,
those families?
oh yeah, we play so much Games Pass. It's kind of it's a lot, but the nice thing about it is, I mean, there's so many more people now on Flight Sim. Like before it was on Games Pass, I don't have any numbers here. These are purely speculation, but I would feel probably safe in saying that putting it on the Xbox, I mean, there was this huge uproar in the simming community of like, well,
Mm-hmm.
that's official. It's a video game now, and why are we allowing these Xbox people to muddy up our sim and so on and so forth? And I couldn't but just help and sit back and just be like, wow, like if this isn't toxic the way that these people are talking. But what it's done, it has allowed the 10-year-old who absolutely loves aviation but only has an Xbox and doesn't have $60 to go shell out on a sim.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, now he can go hop in a plane and fly around. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just allowing more people to enjoy aviation as a whole.
Yeah.
And it's in my opinion, back to what I was originally saying, it probably doubled if not tripled the amount of people that have been using the simulator. Now, on a regular basis, probably not, but overall, they probably saw at least twice as many systems go online once they launched it on the Xbox, if not 3 times.
I mean, I was part of that.
Yep.
I was part of the whole. I mean, I still kind of am. I still feel like, you know, Microsoft is arcadey, and them going to Xbox kind of proved it. Now, it's just the flight dynamics, I think. I mean, and they're there and they're accurate, but I still feel like they're focusing more on making sure that the Xbox it works for Xbox and it's going perfect for them when, you know, hey, we've been here for a while now with the PC stuff and there's things that you need to work on that are more important than this, but it's all a revenue thing. But I you know, it's just me and the way I think. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be just conspiracy theory.
I mean, I would agree it's a revenue thing, but I think what Microsoft has done for the whole flight sim community, opening that door to everyone that doesn't have access to X-Plane, P3D, and people that knew nothing about flight simulation, you know, same with me back in the day. I mean, just even until recently, I don't know, 2 years ago before this came out, I didn't even know about the whole online flight sim community. I didn't know about how exactly huge everything was. I didn't know there was a Flight Sim Expo until I went to the one last year.
I haven't even gone to one.
You know, so I didn't even know they had one until like the March before it happened. I started hearing about it when I started getting involved online and watching streams, and then started streaming myself. And so, I mean, the way they've opened the door to a lot of people to gain more interest, whether it's into Microsoft or they can, you know, discover X-Plane or they can discover P3D, you know, whatever they feel comfortable and they like. But they've definitely opened that door to millions of more potential people into the flight sim community.
Well, what got you into X-Plane instead of P3D? Well, or Flight Sim X? Like when Flight Sim X was out, right? Because I'm pretty sure that's what you started off with. Or did you start off with X-Plane 10?
No. So I started with Microsoft 98, and until X-Plane 11, I got into X-Plane 11 the year before Microsoft came out, I believe.
Like FSX?
Well, yeah. After FSX, I had an FSX, and then I jumped into X-Plane 11. I didn't have X-Plane 10, but I just had the people in my circle were talking about it. I seen some things on it. I wanted to try something that was supposedly more realistic than FSX, from what I was told, and so I hopped into it, and I just kind of just took off from there. I think P3D, I kind of heard a little bit about that, but I think the price tag is what's kind of scared me around because I wasn't too sure about how that worked with the whole license, and kind of made it seem like you had to pay a yearly subscription fee, and I wasn't about to do any of that. So it kind of pushed me towards X-Plane 11, hopped in, liked it, stayed with it, just kept adding things with it and growing with it. People are watching on stream or streaming X-Plane 11. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of P3D streams, for at least from the people I were watching and seeing on YouTube. So that's kind of what pushed me in that general direction.
So low-key kind of influenced by others around you, the direction of the sim you got to go.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's how it works for a lot of people. They get influenced just by who's around them and who they're watching, you know, the stuff they're hearing. I think that's a lot of it, because I don't think a lot of people are discovering this on their own without any kind of influence, you know.
Yeah. What about you, Sheer?
I did FSX because it was available for me to buy at Walmart. That was really what it boiled down to. I was walking through the aisles at Walmart. Finally, with my mom's laptop that she was using for school, it could run it at base settings. Mm-hmm. Walked through, saw the deluxe edition case. I still have the CDs actually for it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna finally get into flight sim now because I can. And that was literally it. That was my only motivating factor. Is I saw the box at Walmart and I was like, yep, give me.
There you go.
I think I ended up buying FSX like 4 times because I would like lose the disc or I broke the disc.
Oh yeah. You didn't use the no CD mod?
No, I think I always use the disc for FSX until Steam, and then I used the Steam version.
Oh yeah, no, there was a mod where you can actually trick it.
Yep, I used it.
Okay, yep. See, he knows it.
Did not know. I didn't know too much about mods back in the day when FSX was there. I was still FSX was like my biggest learning curve when adding stuff to a simulator, figuring out how things worked and adding all that extra stuff. Before that, it was like all default stuff.
Yeah, FSX was you had to have the CD in the drive for it to run. But eventually someone made a config file you could download, replace the original config, and then it wouldn't ask you for the CD anymore.
Well, that would have been nice to know, so I didn't have to buy it 4 freaking times.
Well, you should have. We should have somehow met up 12 years ago, Maverick, and then
Yeah.
I could have helped you.
Yep, that would have been
Yeah.
better.
But is that pretty much, was that the start of your simulation? Was it with Flight Sim? Because I feel like, to me, Flight Sim opened up so many doors on, like, now how I took on a lot of the things, because a lot of people were saying, every time my dad's friends came over, they're like, yeah, look, he's talking to, ATC and all that stuff, and he's talking with other people around, and I was only 12 or 13, and they were just getting their minds blown away with, like, how I was talking to people like an actual pilot, because I was doing VATSIM back then.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if the terms and conditions allow you to, but that opened so many doors to other type of simulations, like American Truck Simulator, or Farming Simulator. I'm not gonna lie, it was like maybe 2 years ago, and that was just, I got it off of watching a Twitch stream of, they do MLG farming sim tournaments now. And I thought it was a joke at first. And I started watching it, and I really started to get into it. And I'm like, I really want to try this.
Mm-hmm.
And that got my foot in the door with farming sim. And then ATS, I think, was when I was in the arcade and my parents were in the casino, and they let us go to the kids zone, and they had 18 Wheels of Steel.
Yeah.
And then that's how I got into trucking sim. I'm like, this is fun. Can I replicate this at home? Every time I did something, it was always, can I do this at home?
Mm-hmm. For me, I think one of the biggest sims for me back in the day was train sim, before maybe even over flight sim at first.
What?
When I started doing, I did a lot of train sim back in the day, but it was different than what they have now. Like back then, you could make your own train city world. You lay your own track, you lay your own trains, buildings. You could create your own whole world. I don't think the newest simulator has that now, unless there's a mod for it. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I don't remember what it was called, but there was a lot of different train games I played. I was a huge train kid growing up. I'd go to the railroad tracks, train stations, just sit there, and instead of plane spotting, I'd be train spotting all day long on my bike. I'd be collecting railroad nails and ties on the ground, and so I was huge back into that before I really got even bigger into flying, because that was back when I was scared to fly before I actually ever flew on a plane. But so yeah, I really think though that flight sims kind of open that whole market, like you're saying, to all kinds of other simulators now.
Yeah, definitely. It's come so far, whether you're a Microsoft fan, whether you're a P3D fan, or you're an X-Plane fan. To be honest with you, we all share the same passion, which is aviation and simming, which is the biggest thing. So that, to me, is just how to keep it, how to keep it all together, I guess. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, no, lost for words on that one. It touches close to the heart. Because you've met so many people with that thing. So many people.
We have got a whole separate life almost, basically, with the sim community. Tons of friends and stuff I've met, from online to in person at the expo to in person after the expo with you guys, and Fly with Rookie. Shout out to him and
Yeah, definitely shout out to Rookie.
Team. So a lot of things have been brought together based on flight simulation. That is for sure.
Yeah, I would have never met you guys if it wasn't through Flight Simulator and through Fly with Rookie. Like, honestly, like this is how close the community is. I come off the streets and get onto the team, and it's something about Flight Sim that, to me at least, you can trust that person for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because flight simming anyone can do, but actual flight simming not everyone can do, because people will just go in there and, let's just do a barrel roll, or
Mm-hmm.
first thing anyone does who does flight simming is, can I shoot something down, or can I push the nose down and see it explode? And then they get sad when the plane just bounces off the ground, and it's like, well, it's a flight simulator, you're supposed to mimic the real thing, and they don't mimic slamming it to the ground. So
just pauses with a green banner across the top that says crash.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. See, it's incredible how the community is. Like, that person Well, just I mean, judging that, hey, this person loves flight sim the same thing as you do, where you just sit in the middle of a screen watching pixels go
Mm-hmm.
for 14, 18 hours. I mean, I love it. It's I'm seeing things here where Fly with Rookie. If you see in the chat, he puts there. He has all his copies. Look at all those hard disks. It's incredible. I forgot about the Golden Standard Edition too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's
good old gold edition. That's where I got my
yeah.
love for the
Yep.
F-18 right there.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's speaking to what you were saying, Shadow.
Hmm.
Simulation has absolutely like some of the best friendships that I have and continue to have to this day. Were all around flight sim. One of the people that were in my wedding, I met him via flight sim. He flew down from Canada. I was one of the groomsmen in my wedding. Fly with Rookie, for example, one of my best friends, met him 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. He helped me with modding, I think, and then I returned the favor and started helping him. I don't remember exactly.
Hold on. He helped you with modding?
I think so, because I was so new to it.
That's the first.
It was him
Just kidding.
and trying to remember his YouTube channel. There's another gentleman. I can't remember what his YouTube channel was called, but we all got on a Skype call because I was fascinated with their YouTube videos, and I don't know how I convinced them. Some 12-year-old kid that probably sounds like a chipmunk still, kind of thing. Like, I don't know how I convinced him to get on a Skype call with me, but I'm so glad I did. And I want to say he helped me with like where to find aircraft or something, because I was
Rookie saying Stephen Watt.
Um,
Mark Anthony Storm.
Yeah, Mark Storm. I was trying to remember what his YouTube channel was, but Mark Anthony Storm. It was me, him, and Rookie essentially. And yeah, I want to say he helped me like where to find a plane or something. And it's just turned into a friendship that will forever last my whole lifetime. It's one of those friendships that you just know is never going away kind of thing. And it was all because of flight sim and just simulation as a whole. It is crazy how it can form these relationships. And
I can still picture the 98 cover. I think it was a Learjet, if I remember correctly. Some kind of private jet was on the cover of Microsoft 98. If I'm saying that correctly.
I think so. You know what's funny is that you say that, like a 12-year-old chipmunk kid hanging out with older people, right? Because
that really bad when you word it that way.
No.
It wasn't like much old. I'm not saying he's creepy because he wasn't like much older than I either, but
no, but I'm just saying because that happened to me as well. Oh, Jesus, is not working out. No, because I joined a group called FS Elite at the time, and that was on TeamSpeak. And I remember that I was the youngest one because again I sounded like a chipmunk too, and there were these older people there, and it was just like they talked to me like I was an adult, and I think that's where that's where my childhood became into adulthood, because it was literally yeah, it was just literally like you didn't want to do anything for these guys to see you as a child, right? That was always through my mind. So I was always trying to be an adult with them, because, and then that's what happens sometimes when I get on Discord or something, and I find out like the person that is on, for instance, Maverick's channel, right? The other day it was a farming sim, right? And I think it was Patrick, right? Mm-hmm. Found out how old he was, and I was like, wow, that was shocking. But then again, like that's how it was for me too, where I was a certain age and the other people were a different age, but they showed me the way and they showed me the path. And age is just a number. It's just, was that person mature or not? And that's awesome how like Rookie was able to take you under your wing, because again, it's just you also have that passion for aviation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I saw you bring up World Flight schedule there, buddy.
I did. I was trying to edit something because I wanted to put it at the end there because I was trying to get it when we were talking about it earlier. But since you're bringing it up now, I guess I can go ahead and display it. We can talk about it real quick before we get to truck sim.
Let's do it.
So yeah, I just kind of want to bring the schedule up on the screen so you guys could kind of see it.
Such an HD image. Do you want a better one?
If you have a better one, this is only what I got off of my phone. You can kind of see it there.
Blurry.
At least the general gist of where everything's going.
Bermuda.
What was that?
I said I think I can read Bermuda.
So I mean, I can read the list. I just can't read the yellow.
What
yellow ones.
happens if I share my screen? Will that mess up your whole thing?
It might, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll
Probably.
send you this. I'll send you this link really quickly.
Okay. Yeah. Send me the link.
In the meantime, we just gotta do some small talk. So, angels, Anaheim Angels, angels.
No, but yeah. So yeah, Scott's unhappy. There's no Perth in Australia. Unfortunately, no East or Western Australia. Only on the east coast of Australia. Starting in Sydney, going to Brisbane, Port Moresby, and then going on up there into Asia, the Middle East, Africa, Europe.
Sent,
Northern
by the
Europe.
way, on your Discord.
Let me check here the Discord real quick.
I mean, the big talk of the game here is, and I'm pretty sure it's a little bit obvious, and I think we should really point this out, is that there is no Rio de Janeiro.
There's no Rio de Janeiro. I know that's kind of a disappointment there, but actually, you know what? That makes sense because the Rio de Janeiro runway is super small, and
Oh gosh, yes, it was.
747 would not be able to land on that runway. So
Oh man,
Yeah.
I was not expecting that runway.
yeah, so
They,
so that
I really,
is
there's one
um,
airport I wish they had in there because everybody could land it. And it's
Yeah.
St. Martin.
Well, we are going to St. Martin. I
yeah,
thought
that was added in there, right?
that they did.
Yes.
I think they
No,
did
was
add it.
It was a suggestion. Someone was because they were asking like any more places that we want. They finalized it, and that is the route
okay.
this is final. So they were asking for suggestions. And
Okay,
I
well,
really wish St. Martin was in there. It's like my favorite airport to fly into.
it is
And
one of the best
tourists we
approaches.
know will fit it. But
Every plane could fit in there too. Yeah.
yep.
I
But
thought they
maybe
added
next
on there, but I guess not. Well, that's a little disappointing, but that's all right. I mean, we got a lot of 45 destinations here.
there's always next year that we can.
Yeah,
do, so.
there is
There
quite
is.
a bit of destinations actually to be There is 47.
Is there 47? Okay, 47 destinations. So yeah, there's still quite a bit. Starting on the 5th and working our way, we're going westward, right? Yeah, westward.
Yep. Going
Up
from
and through this
Australia,
route
going
here.
up north and then west and
Oh yeah.
down
So-
around the Horn of Africa and all that fun stuff.
So yeah, definitely going to be a fun one. Cannot wait for that. But I think quickly growing as one of our newest favorite simulators, ATS, as you guys know it, American Truck Sim. Lots
Strangely
of good
addicting.
stuff. Oh, it is strange. It is very, very addicting. It's like I don't even know how to describe it, but it's very, very addicting. That is for sure. I think I downloaded it, and within 3 days, I already had like 50 hours in the game.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember when you bought it, you were saying you didn't buy all the DLC because you were worried that you wouldn't like it. You didn't want to throw all your money into it.
Seriously?
And then, like 8 hours later, you're like, yeah, I have it all now.
Wow. And then 18 hours later, Steam decided to say F you and put everything on sale.
Yeah. Now here's a half off deal for
I know.
everything. That's the Maverick timing right there.
Yep. That is just my luck for sure.
So I didn't mean to pour salt in the wounds. Yes, I did.
Yes, and it burns a little bit. Definitely burns. Man, I saw that. I cried just a little bit. I might have shed a tear because that.
But how do you
saved me
like it
a
though?
lot of money. No, I love it. It's definitely my new favorite sim. Other than Flight Sim, obviously, is still number one, and it's never going to be. I don't think that will ever be dethroned as number one in my heart when it comes to simulators. But Truck Sim, Farm Sim are right up there as number 2. Truck Sim might even be higher than Farm Sim, maybe. Maybe not.
Real quick, for those who are not aware what American Truck Sim is and what you can do, describe it to us, Maverick. What is it? Sell it to me, basically.
Well, American Truck Sim obviously is one of the greatest simulators for semi-truck or just truck driving in general, because it doesn't have to be a semi-truck. You got tow trucks in there that I've seen mods for, heavy hauling tow trucks. But it's realistic real-world driving in a semi-truck hauling cargo, various types of cargo around the country with very, very detailed maps. It's not the same as Flight Sim where it's 100% one-to-one scale of the time it takes you to go from airport to airport. Obviously, it takes less time to drive where we're going, but you see a lot of the same landmarks you would see in real life in LA, Arizona, New Mexico, They have the entire western side of the United States released at this point. Montana being the newest one released currently. That one was just released. We tried to stream it the other day, but I had to uninstall Truck Sim and reinstall it because it was crashing. Seems to be working now, so we'll definitely be doing that soon.
No matter what sim anyone plays, something will always crash.
Yes, there's no such thing as a perfect simulator.
Simisms.
Although I do wonder, does Southwest simulators ever crash?
Oh, you are still on that.
I do wonder if like the airlines, what they use, if it ever crashes on them. I do wonder that. But
so from me being inside them, we've never had a crash. What we did have was when we had to reset the sim after like, okay, we did an approach, let's do it again. The sim was making weird noises and we could not figure out what it was. It turns out when we reset the sim and we were back in the air, the landing gear was down. So it was making the sound of the landing gear hitting the air. And we could not figure it out. We thought the sim was broken. But they do break, but it's very, very, very rare.
Dang you, Scott. That's not
What was that? Sheer?
So that's why they cost millions of dollars.
Yes.
Yes, like 10 million, I think. Yeah, it's not.
As Scott is giving me crap in chat here for my crash last night. But
I need to see this.
If you guys didn't see that, we tried the Latin VFR A321 with the fly-by-wire mod, and it was dog shit. The whole plane was good until approach. I looked out the window as we were about to capture the localizer. I looked back into the cockpit, and the localizer captured, and the plane did a barrel roll and took a nosedive straight to the ground.
Yep, I'm gonna go watch that right after this.
Yes.
Yeah. Same.
Oh no. Yes. It was very heartbreaking, to say the least, when you're about to land after a flight, and it just, yeah. Say the least, we all died.
I sent you a price sheet of all the simulators you can rent for a day. By the way,
oh, you did?
To your email. Yep, $9.50 an hour for modern aircraft, or $7.50 for legacy aircraft.
Is Rookie Sim on there? You can rent it. Just saying.
You can rent it.
You can rent Rookie Sim. Anywho, back to American Truck Sim. We went right back to Flight Sim.
But yes, the new Montana map is out. It looks great. You got Yellowstone in there. All kinds of great visuals. Great trucking. Lots of great mods to add to it. Texas is next on the list to be released. I'm thinking in the next few weeks. I haven't seen a hard release date for that yet, but I know it's imminent.
I'm gonna guess holidays. That's my guess, is holiday of 2022.
Probably.
Yep.
Probably.
It's a big map.
So, I mean, it's gonna be insane once that game has the entire United States on it.
Like sheer insane?
Yes, like sheer level insane. But doing like a long haul from like New York to LA and that thing.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh my.
But that's where you can, and I'm sorry about this year, but that's where you can introduce a logistic company. And what that means is you can introduce flight simming into it, which to me, I still don't understand how it's not like no one's thought of it or stick with it, but pretty much you can go ahead and start from New York to LA, but since it's not available right now, well, you can do LA to Denver, and then from Denver, you get flight sim to take over from there. With that being said, Sheer will go a little bit into this now.
Yes. So, still in the works. We don't have specifics yet, but the three of us are working on, easiest way to put it, a virtual logistics company, where we're going to incorporate flight sim, American Truck Sim, Euro Truck Sim, farming sim, potentially train sim. We haven't really talked about it, but it makes sense. So we'll talk about it later. But essentially, it's going to be one total encompassing company. Right now, S.M.S Logistics is the going name of it. Might change, but that's what we're at right now. And basically, we're going to have virtual stuff set up. Anthony's shaking his head no, so maybe it's not that.
We are not changing the name.
Oh, okay. Not okay.
That is the name.
I guess, yep, that's it is. S.M.S Logistics. So we're going to have it set to where we're going to have the trucking aspect of it, the flight sim aspect of it. So whatever simulator it is that you like, you're going to be able to find a home here. If you like flying, we're going to have truckers taking cargo from someone's farm in, for example, Denver. We're going to drive it out to LA, and then we'll load your plane up, and your job is to now fly it from LA to, wherever, kind of thing. We're still working on how to get it all totally like cohesive as far as the way that the cargo itself would work. We know how Truck Simulator, how we're going to do that. Flight Sim, we're still working on it. So it's very much a work in progress. But it's just going to be a total sim company, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
where whatever it is that you like, you're going to be able to find a home and do
Yeah.
something.
And you have ETS too. You have Euro Trucking Simulator, and they have a lot of Europe is unlocked too.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something that is also going to be introduced because we just got it not too long ago too. So it's like once we
Yes.
can figure out the logistics behind, oh, I see what's called logistics. Once we get the logistics behind, how to incorporate the trucking sim and the flight sim, I think it's going to be a great idea. And definitely, if this is something that you're interested in, definitely join up because it's something where it's going to be a lot of fun. If you like simming, which everyone does, then you're going to enjoy this because how can you sit there for hours doing this? Well, you do it with Flight Sim. And if you can do it with Flight Sim, you can use your imagination to do the virtual cargo. Oh, I'm transporting this on the truck. Now it's going to go on the plane. Well, use your imagination because that's what we're all doing. And it's,
Yep.
I think it's going to be great, honestly, especially with everything we have in the works right now and how we're just testing it. It would just, I think it's going to be great. And we would be the first, I think, to do something.
I've done so much Googling, and I've yet to find one company that does it all, essentially. Yep. And that's what we're trying to do. And probably the best thing about it, because one of the biggest issue that people have with sim is like there's no like mission or there's no objective, as some
Exactly.
people call it. You're just choosing to do what you want, that kind of thing. Whereas this, now, even though it's the exact same flight, same plane, like nothing's different in the actual simulator except for maybe you actually input the weight of the cargo, so your plane flies different or something. But it gives you a reason for that flight all of a sudden. And so that's what a lot of things, that's like the one thing that sims have been missing, and that's one thing that a lot of the community has also been saying has been missing. Like if you go and look at the wish list for the new Microsoft, one of the main things is like, give us missions back, like what FSX had, because it was an objective. It gave us a reason for simming, for what we're simming for, essentially. And so that's what we're going to do, is give everybody a reason and all that sense of accomplishment and all that jargon. But more to come. If you are interested, message one of us on Discord is probably the easiest way right now.
Yep. You guys can join the Discord. They're on my Discord too. You guys can reach out to them. They're on there as Shadow and Sheer Insane. And if you guys want to get involved, let us know. But definitely excited for this to take off and hit the ground running as soon as we get all of it figured out. The trucking part, like I said, the trucking part and the flight sim part is the easiest figured out apart from each other. Now we're just trying to combine them. Is the difficult part.
And if, by all means, if you guys have suggestions or know of any systems that will work or have any ideas, we are all open-eared.
Yes.
We will absolutely listen to anyone and everyone.
Yes, for sure we will. For sure. So big things on the horizon there with S.M.S Logistics. And American Truck Sim. And of course, we touched a bit on Euro Truck Sim. I do have Euro Truck Sim that we'll be getting into and
You're
exploring
welcome.
that as well. Thanks to Shadow, yes, gifting me Euro Truck Sim right after I just barely started American Truck Sims. Like, how can I do both? But
all the Sims.
Well, it's simple. It's like when it's daytime here, you do daytime here, and when you do nighttime there,
Okay.
When you do your Euro tour.
I guess that makes sense. So we'll have to do some Euro trucking soon, but Montana map, obviously, and hopefully a convoy with these gentlemen here on stream when you go check out Montana as the new one coming up. Is S.M.S going to be their own YouTube? Possibly, maybe.
FMS or SMS?
S.M.S.
Oh, okay.
That's what Rookie's
Yeah.
asking in
Hard
chat.
time
So,
reading
so
that.
yeah, possibly. As we grow the podcast here, we'll eventually
Oh,
probably
Rookie's in
evolve.
chat?
He is in chat.
That's how he knew what we were talking about.
Yeah, he's been in chat for the whole time.
Sidekick. So he just knew what we were talking about.
Exactly.
His ears are ringing. He knew we were talking about him.
Also, hold on. Also, hold that breath. I heard you. We should add this to the note. If we can get this company to sponsor World Flight, it'd be awesome. Just saying, I don't think anyone's reached out to them.
Biscoff.
Who is that?
The Biscoff cookies.
Oh,
So mental note there, if
very
Rookie's watching, we gotta just. It just came to me. I was like, has anyone reached out?
or if somehow some representative from the Biscoff company is watching or listening to this.
Yes.
If you want to increase the realism of World Flight for the Team SoCal crew, let us know.
Yes. Yes.
Because
yes.
we will for sure be eating those on stream.
So yes, but yes, no, good thing is coming. Lots of stuff in the flight sim world, truck sim world, farm sim world even. I think some new stuff is released. We'll touch on that probably in the next episode, some more of the farm sim. But
Yeah.
anything else you guys have you want to add with any of thing we've talked about today?
Honestly, no, I'm really excited about the logistics portion of it. Come fly with us. If you don't have truck sim and you only have flight sim, it doesn't stop you from joining. Vice versa, if you don't have flight sim and you only have truck sim, doesn't stop you from joining. That was on that one. World Flight. I'm really excited about World Flight. It's going for a really good cause. And it's literally going to be a lot of fun. So cannot wait for that.
Definitely going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So next episode is probably going to be the weekend after next weekend, right? Because next weekend we're working on the sim at Rookies. So there'll be a 1 week break between our next episode, but normally it'll be every Sunday morning. Will be our podcast episode around the same time here, around about 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. But yeah, next week we're going to be working on the sim. Maybe we'll share some screenshots or short videos on social media of our work on the sim, getting it ready for World Flight. Drew wants to know about the charity. You guys want to talk about?
Can we?
I'm going to hold off until we get the confirmation and everything for sure. Let's hold off on that.
What we can say with the charity is like this 100% goes to a charitable event of what we chose.
Yes.
Yep.
It's an aviation themed charity from what we're choosing and what we're going to be donating or raising money for. But yes, until things are set in stone, we do got to hold off on exactly officially announcing that.
What you're gonna say?
What?
You were about to say something. You were saying
if you have followed the flight sim community, you've heard of these guys before. But until we hear the exact confirmation, you'll know. And then during that World Flight, every single penny that is donated will be going to them. The Team SoCal is not keeping any of it. Fly with Rookie, the primary sponsor, is not keeping any of it. He's super generous and just offering up his sim this entire time. No one is keeping a dime. It is all 100% going to that charity during this stream. But until we get the official confirmation, we are holding off on announcing who the charity is.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Yes. So that's going to let's see, pretty much I think wrap up our first podcast here. First episode number 1 is down and in the books. Many more to come. Like I said, we'll be working on the sim next week. The week after we'll be live again for the podcast. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Hope you guys have enjoyed our podcast. Everyone in chat, thanks for hanging out with us on our actually went what do we do, about an hour and a half almost on our podcast.
I have no idea, to be honest with you, but I'll take your word for it.
Almost an hour and a half. So
make sure, of course, if you do like this content, here's the classic YouTube shrill here. If you do like the content, like, comment, subscribe. It really does help us out. It helps get the word out. It helps us greatly with that. And so, check in. There will also be we're going to be uploading this to the actual podcast places like Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. So it's not going to be just on YouTube, so you can listen to it wherever you listen to your ever favorite podcasts at.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, gentlemen. Till next time.
Adios.
Oh,
See ya.
are you gonna mute us this time again?
Yep.
All right.
So we'll see you guys
Have a
till
good
next
one.
time.
See ya.